to bad Trump.
That's a really bad Trump.
There's no good way to get into this. Just bad Trump is this thing. That's not great.
Not great.
Who is he resurrecting?
America.
I think.
America, I'm sure.
It's symbolic, you stooge.
Okay. F-22s in the background. That's awesome.
Well, they're kind of birds and morphing into F-22s, and it looks like a cherubim over him.
I will grant you that looks bad on its surface.
You know.
But a White House insider leaked the first draft that didn't make the cut, and it is...
What matters of this segment is that Crowder criticizes Trump when he needs to be criticized, and this Jesus pick was not defensible, and it was really dumb. The timing was really bad.
Notably worse. Yeah, I will say.
And he said unto us, eat of the Big Mac, for it is my body.
And it's tasty.
Stop the quarreling. You can leave if you want to quarrel.
Oh, my gosh. Okay.
By the way, Judas is a fag. He's going to try and betray me with a kiss?
What? Gross.
How about a handshake, Judas?
What a McFlurry.
You could just point.
What are you, some kind of fruit pie?
Oh my gosh.
It's never good to compare yourself to Jesus.
He didn't make it, right? So somebody else posted this back in February, but there's a pattern that this person has followed where it does make it look like Trump is Jesus. And people are like, well, that's not Trump being Jesus. I'm like, all right, why the robe? Yeah, he wears a suit and tie, guys. Come on, don't be dumb about this. Just say, hey, that's not good. Don't do it, especially on Orthodox Easter yesterday. Yeah. Like, who are you trying to piss off here?
And I've said this. I've maintained it. Look, I don't know that Donald Trump is a practicing Christian at all. I know that before he ran for president, he obviously wasn't. He wasn't super familiar with the Bible, with Scripture. That's not lost on me.
It's his second favorite book.
Yeah.
He has it laminated. You remember that?
Yeah. I'd still vote for him. Yes. I'd still vote for him over Kamala Harris because these people actively try to destroy everything that Christians value, everything that this country stands for. But you should probably have some wiser counsel. And that does give ammo to people now. I've seen some people now trying to say he's the Antichrist. And of course he's not, because the Antichrist will be a universally beloved figure.
Yes.
That does not seem to describe Donald Trump.
They don't know the qualifications.
They do not.
That image does not belong on the president's social media page. It belongs on a commemorative plate collection.
Yes.
That you put next to your Dale Earnhardt collection.
Yes.
And it's compounded by the fact that he posted, this is after his rant against the Pope. Now, I'm going to give you some quotes from the Pope and explain why I'm not the biggest fan of this Pope.
I have less problem with this.
Yeah,
I get why it pisses people off, and I'm like,
It's just these things happening in tandem will piss off a lot of Catholics who look. And I don't say this to them. Catholics are a very fickle voting base. You have a lot of Catholics who have voted Democrat, a lot of Catholics who have abandoned principles in the past. I mean, sure, they make up a huge portion of the pro-life movement in the United States, but to act as though the Catholic voting base has been reliably right-leaning, conservative, pro-America, or even...
I got an interesting data for you. So Catholics who attended Mass weekly or more, they voted for Trump in 2024. But those that didn't attend Mass at all, they tended to lean towards Kamala Harris. So that tells me true Catholics do vote conservative because they're going to have to. Like, if you know, you know. The thing is, those that nominally call themselves Catholics, they are not Catholic necessarily, but they'll still listen to the Pope. That's the problem. Socially
very traditional. It's just not the case.
Nancy Pelosi's a Catholic.
Yeah. So, but the voting base is pretty. Yeah. It can be relatively fickle, and so this. And they really got a thing when you go after the Pope. Even Catholics who don't like the Pope don't like it when other people go after the Pope.
Yeah.
So this is what he posted on Truth. He wrote, Pope Leo, that's a weak name for a Pope. Pope Leo, hello. Pope Leo is weak on crime and terrible for foreign policy. He talks about fear of the Trump administration, but doesn't mention the fear that the Catholic Church and all other Christian organizations had during COVID when they were arresting priests, ministers, and everybody else for holding church services even when going outside and being 10 and even 20 feet apart. Leo should get his act together as Pope. Use common sense. Stop catering to the radical left and focus on being a great Pope, not a politician. It's hurting him very badly, and more importantly, it's hurting the Catholic Church. President Donald J. Trump. Now,
I mean, that's kind of
He's
fine.
not wrong. I just think that this probably isn't the best time to, because the contingency of people who are saying, I voted for Donald Trump and he's a betrayer and we need to oust him in 25th, a lot of them are Catholic, and a lot of Catholic people are listening to the Candace Owens and, and people like Tucker Carlson, who've had a lot of Catholics on their show. Here's the truth about the Pope. Check the references. We provide them every show, 11 a.m. Eastern. This Pope has made a point to speak out against anything that you as a conservative, a right-leaning, a MAGA American would stand for. So we do need to apply this standard equally. For example, the Pope specifically addressed the border policy at one point. He said, where the world sees threats, she, the church, sees children. Where walls are built, she builds bridges. So just build a bridge that goes over the Vatican walls.
Yeah, they're really big.
Yeah, you guys, just build one that goes like over the moats and goes in there.
Well, I could just go across if they wanted.
You would, yeah.
Just go buy it.
You would think that the Pope wouldn't be this tone deaf. And I don't understand why the Pope thinks it's his role to speak on immigration policy.
No, I have no idea why.
He said that deporting illegal immigrants was not, and this sounds like a leftist talking point, it's not pro-life. You know how the left, if ever they try and say they're a Christian, or they try and invoke the Constitution, or they say that they're pro-life, they're about to lie to you.
Yeah.
So they'll often use this talking point. They'll say, well, you're pro-life until it leaves the womb, and then they're on their own for health care, for school, for daycare, because they equate pro-life with pro-free stuff.
Forever.
We're just talking about not killing someone.
Giving them a chance.
Yeah. So the Pope wrote this. He wrote, if someone says I'm against abortion, but I'm in agreement with the inhuman treatment of immigrants in the United States, I don't know if that's pro-life. Well, Pope, I do. I guess you're not speaking ex cathedra on that, because that is incorrect.
I'd like the Pope to know.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's pro. I would prefer if you knew.
I would prefer if you knew. Yeah.
That would be good for the rest of all of us.
That would be fantastic. But also, scroll back up to the quote. He says he's treating immigrants in the United States inhumanely.
Yeah, inhuman
treatment of immigrants. Which immigrants that come to this country are being treated inhumanely? Well, what about this? Which illegal immigrants that are given plane tickets and money to go back home, to self-deport, to come back in, that are being caught and nicely escorted to a car if they don't resist arrest, run, shoot at cops, try to beat them up? Like, what are you saying? That's exactly what I would expect out of a politician's mouth,
well, this
not
is
the Pope.
My big problem with the Pope is that he's completely insulated from not only any criticism, but answering questions. I'd ask the Pope, I'd go, okay, so right now, if someone is here illegally, if they self-deport, they can do it on an app. They get their flights paid for. $2,600, I believe, is what the number is now.
That was the last number, yeah.
$2,600 each, and then they can come back the legal way.
All good.
Is that inhumane? No. Okay. Now, what if they don't, and they stay here? Is it inhumane for us to then deport the person?
Right.
How many chances is enough? Is the Pope's view that you simply can't enforce laws? Is the Pope's view a globalist view that there should be no such thing as borders? Well, that would be an untenable situation. That would be an untenable view because of the Vatican, because of the fact that they do have security, because of the fact that they do have walls. I have no problem with the fact that they do. I have a problem with the fact that this Pope, who never has to answer for any of the BS that he spouts, doesn't have any kind of an answer. Yeah. He said, I don't know. Well, that didn't stop him from expressing an opinion. I'll tell you where he does have very strong opinions. Climate change. That's the realm of the Pope.
Yeah. That's good.
He wrote, everyone in society, through non-governmental organizations and advocacy groups, must put pressure on governments to develop and implement more rigorous regulations, procedures, and controls. The funny thing about that is when you talk about being pro-life, do you realize how many people are killed from green regulations and environmental policy? Have you run the numbers? If they could, a protocol, now it's the Paris Climate Agreement. How many people in third world countries would die just because of the costs of energy and the costs of food, of farming, of agriculture? I mean, these numbers have been run. We've shown them quite a few times. They keep going up, by the way. In the first world, gas prices go up. It's annoying.
Right.
It's inconvenient. You may have to reschedule a vacation. You may have to make some cutbacks. For a rural family in Mexico or in Honduras, it's fatal. They die. They can't cook. They can't sanitize drinking water. They can't eat. They can't get anywhere if they're lucky enough to even have a gas-using vehicle. They don't have electric cars. This is the problem with the Pope, is the virtue signaling. He has very strong opinions on issues that completely fall outside of the realm of popehood, popedom, whatever you want to say.
Wow, I never connected green policy to be anti-pro-life. But that's kind of really true. Crowder nailed it. And the Pope should know. He already knows. It doesn't really help the poor people. In fact, it actually practically kills people, not metaphorically. He should know. And for him to lecture Trump on what is and what isn't pro-life, like I love the Pope. I want to like the Pope. I am exploring Catholicism, but it's always the popes that make me think twice. It's not the doctrine or theology of Catholicism. It's the magnitude of the influence that the Pope has and the things that they say politically.
Papacy.
But he doesn't have super strong, I don't have the answer. It's always, well, I don't know. The Lord works in mysterious ways. Oh, climate change? No, we need to sign the Paris Agreement. Yeah. No, we need to get to net zero. Very, very specific on social and political issues. Yeah. Very vague on issues that should really be in his wheelhouse. So I think the criticism is warranted from President Trump. It's just this is not going to play well.
Yeah, no, and if the Pope wants to speak on policy, he should do it broadly.
Right.
Like, we're going to be there to help people. If climate change really does displace people and really does cause famine and really does cause hardship on people, the church will be there, as the church has always been throughout history, to help people through charity. And we will do that. Will you support our mission in doing that? That's the kind of thing he can say and get people behind.
Right.
But to go out and say you need to put pressure on your governments for this, it's like, well, what about the pressure of, I don't know, areas that could never grow food before, now that we've had a tiny bit of warming over the last, 100 years? They can, and more people can survive because of it.
I think the litmus test for American Catholics who are more right-leaning, who are conservative, who are MAGA, who are America First. Let's say the Pope was president, or let's say the Pope had a political majority, the Pope Party. Take away the Republican Party, the Democratic Party, but assume that everyone in the Pope Party followed lockstep.
I'd love to go to a Pope party.
No, you wouldn't.
What kind of government do you think you'd have? You'd have a leftist government. They probably wouldn't trans kids.
Yeah.
And it'd probably be pro-life.
So true.
Outside of that, it would be left on every other issue. You'd have open borders. You'd have environmental regulations.
Wow. Social welfare.
You
everywhere.
Social welfare everywhere. You wouldn't have Doge. You'd have soda on Snap. You'd have EBT. You would have no voter ID. This person should be discounted as it relates to political issues.
That's right.
But it's where he loves to sound off the most and tell you what is hurting Americans and what is hurting Christians. Let me ask you, though, too, why is it the Pope always seems really emboldened to speak out against Republicans or conservatives? I don't remember any of the popes being this aggressive with Barack Obama, with Biden.
So
it seems like they're really comfortable jumping in on the doggy pile where they know they'll have a sympathetic media. That's another thing that bothers me.
Because they live in Europe.
Yeah.
Well, and he also said, I'm going to continue to speak out, the gospel. And I'm like, that I'm in support of.
That's fine.
But I didn't hear that.
I didn't hear that.
What I heard, and he's like, it was not meant to be an attack on any one person. He said right before that, I was like, really? By the way, the criticisms of the Pope, just look at some of the past popes. And you tell me, Catholics, if we're being too harsh. This is not an attack on Catholicism. This is an attack on what a man says.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that he's not what you say he is. I'm just saying in this instance, he wasn't speaking ex cathedra. He was saying something just as a man. Yeah. So fine. Mm-hmm. That is reasonable.
He's not only fallible on political issues, he is politically uneducated. Yes. He's politically illiterate.
Isolated politically in
Very
many
much
ways.
So. Yeah. I'd give his opinions on this about the same credence I would give Nancy Pelosi.
Yeah, nothing.
What?
Capital case out of this.
No, that's exactly
but he
right.
did. So, but he thought
and honestly, I did.
If this was Biden,
I'll tell you, I kind of get it. Outside of the red shawl, I get doctor.
Okay.
I can see it.
If he took a quick look and he's like, I love it.
No one saw that and thought anything except Jesus.
Doctors don't have sleeves like that.
No, that's
What is that? What is that shiny thing you see? Is that a stethoscope that's like shining?
No, it's light.
It could be.
It's a flashlight.
Open up your mouth.
Is he a dentist?
Just be a nickel stethoscope.
Right.
Real shiny one.
Of course. One of those diamond stethoscopes.
Only the best.
I thought it was a doctor saving the nation.
He took it down. Isn't that the point?
Could be Dr. Trump time.
Also, not great. He's like, hey, I'm pretending to be a doctor.
Yeah, so.
If Indians can do it, so can I.
On my list of things that I really care about, I'm not going to lie to you. This isn't even on the list.
No, that's the thing, is like caring about it is a lot different than just making fun of it.
I care a little. I care a little about a picture like that. I'm like, don't do that. Don't do that.
Well, it's very.
That's not wise.
You're a very religious guy, and
yes, and so were most.
you
of the
don't like
who
people to
voted
depict your prophet and all that.
Yeah.
No. I have zero problem with that. No, don't get me wrong.
I'm just kidding.
There is no equivocation between Islam killing people for drawing Muhammad. Fine. My God is bigger than your ability to do art. Okay, but my problem is like that you're supposed to represent us to some degree. I know you're not a perfect man, or maybe even a fully even practicing Christian, but you've certainly said all of the things you needed to say to get people that believe what I believe to vote for you. Don't mock them if that's what you were trying to do. And don't be insensitive to their needs and their concerns, which it seems like he's not. So that's great. I don't need to go any further than that.
Yeah.
I think some people are.
I think the lesson of this is to our last person who sent in the chat. Bible in 24 Hours, Chuck Missler. Mere Christianity, great. I also would say look into apologetics, because if you're agnostic and you're thinking about this now, I've seen a lot of people who logically are going, okay, read up on the historical case for Christ and the the third party writings and the impact that he has had, and look to those kinds of, like you said, a good local church, right? Don't go to President Trump's Truth Social. Probably not the best place to start. Oh, you're still here and you're still watching this on YouTube?